Part 23. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 225. The fifth battle started quickly and ended quickly. Sulinger quickly defeated the monster on the opposite side. The fourth game just now was an almighty humanoid warrior, and the fifth game was an almighty monster. Sulinger now has very good control over her own strength, so this can no longer stop her. Congratulations, challenger, you have completed the first day of the trial. Do you want to proceed to the second day of the trial? Yes. Sulinger didn't even think about it and replied directly. She is in the fighting spirit right now and must continue to fight. A few seconds later, the environment around Sulinger had changed. The ring disappeared and appeared next to Sulinger. In front of Linger was a broken battlefield. Challenger, this is a new environment. Please adapt as soon as possible. The trial here is a little different from the last arena battle. Your opponent is random. Note that random here refers to quantity and realm, but there will be no exceedance. Opponents outside your realm. Sulinger was a little confused when she heard this. Doesn't this mean that she may encounter many opponents, and may encounter several of the same level? This is a bit difficult, after all, she has just adapted to the environment here. Fight. A few minutes later, Xiaonu's voice sounded again, Challenger, the first trial is about to begin, please be prepared. After the words fell, two opponents appeared opposite Sulinger, both warriors in human form. Sulinger felt relieved a lot. Fortunately, there were only two opponents of the same level this time, so it wasn't too difficult. But when it was only when Sulinger started fighting that she realized how difficult these two opponents were, because they cooperated so well with no flaws at all. Even if Sulinger continued to defend, she was quickly suppressed by the opponent. Stopped. The more Suchanga studied this formation, the more strange he felt. He understood one thing. This star battlefield was definitely not arranged by the Star Palace itself, but obtained from somewhere. With the strength of the Star Palace, this kind of formation cannot be arranged. No wonder Bila Wai said that this is the biggest secret of their Star Palace. This secret is really big. Sulinger is a peerless genius. After adapting to the offensive of the two opponents, he also began to look for opportunities to counterattack. Suchanga taught her a lot of things that she couldn't use before, but now they are good, and the time has come for them to come into play. While she recalled the sword skills Suchanga taught her, she faced two humanoid warriors with the existence of a sparring partner. She felt that she understood the sword art much faster. The sword art quickly entered the completion stage, and the sword energy attacked the two humanoid warriors under her control. As the familiarity with the sword art increased, the power of the sword energy also became stronger and stronger. Slowly, the figures of the two opponents on the opposite side began to become illusory, until they finally disappeared. Congratulations, challenger, you have completed the first challenge of the next day. You have 1 hour to adjust your breath, and the next challenge will automatically start after 1 hour. After hearing Xiaonu's words, Sulinger immediately sat cross-legged on the ground and began to recover her spiritual power. After all, she still spent some spiritual power at the beginning. An hour later, Sulinger opened her eyes, and a second person began to appear on the opposite side. The opponent who challenged Sulinger. The light began to flicker, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rays of light appeared, and then 5 humanoid warriors appeared opposite Sulinger. Yes, this time Sulinger's opponents were 5 people, 2 of whom she is in the realm of a Saint King, and the 3 Saint Kings are at their peak. Now she understands the meaning of randomness. It is indeed not that difficult to fight. It seems that those who can stay on the star list are not fuel-efficient lamps, and she also understands the stars. Why are the sisters in the palace fighting so crazy? The training on the star battlefield is basically a life and death battle. You can't do it if you don't go crazy. Now Sulinger is crazy. The various sword techniques Suchanga taught her are life-threatening. If she hadn't been unable to use the weapons Suchanga gave her, the battle would have been over long ago. Now she didn't care about the consumption of spiritual power. Anyway, her spiritual power was stronger than ordinary people, which was also her advantage. Suling now has a certain understanding of all the sword techniques she has learned, and knows which sword techniques are suitable for use when. The sword techniques Suchanga taught her have different functions, including group attack sword techniques and single target sword techniques. Sword techniques with extremely strong attack power, including sword techniques used to create cages. She had never seriously studied these martial arts before, but now she had to pick them up again. Fortunately, Suchanga gave her the martial arts. If she had ordinary martial arts, without a long period of immersion, she would not be able to comprehend it so quickly. This is the first time she has entered the star battlefield, and she has already challenged it for 2 days. When Singer and the others came in before, they stayed for half a day. I was forced to give up. Therefore, those people on the star list come to challenge every day. Unlike Sulinger, who is powerful in martial arts and sword techniques, he can easily handle the battle here. After an hour, only now that Sulinger was alone, she quickly sat down and began to recover her spiritual energy. The battle just now consumed most of her spiritual energy. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 226. But this time the 5 people did not disappear after being eliminated. Instead, they turned into 5 groups of light in place. When Sulinger recovered her spiritual power, the 5 light groups integrated into her body and immediately turned into spiritual power that filled her whole body. Sulinger felt that the spiritual power she had consumed was recovering rapidly. She felt it carefully and found that it was true, and she was very happy. It turns out that there is such a reward for winning the battle. Yes, this way her spiritual power is guaranteed, and she can use various martial arts with confidence. Half an hour later, she recovered her spiritual power, and she continued to study the various martial arts in her mind. Suchanga left a lot of martial arts in her mind. She wanted to sort them out for Singer and the others to use. This time she was going to lead the Sing Chen Palace to win the championship of the 5-sex competition, so she wanted to help the sisters in the Sing Chen Palace increase their combat effectiveness to the highest level. After a while, Sulinger selected a martial art suitable for Singer and the others, and continued to study the sword techniques she had just used. The power of those sword techniques should be even greater, but she had just started to use them and was not familiar with them. Now she knew how good it was to have a powerful father. At least there is no need to worry about martial arts, and the martial arts left to her by her father must be the best, bar none. Suchanga felt very happy listening to the little girl praising herself in her heart. Although Sulinger was sometimes very nervous, she still recognized him as her father. An hour came quickly, and Sulinger ushered in the 3rd battle. 3 people appeared this time, but they were all in the Saint King realm, but Sulinger was no longer afraid of them. With her familiarity with martial arts, the martial arts she now displayed were very powerful. Sulinger now won't have much difficulty fighting 3 people at the same level as herself, and these 3 people are not as good at training Sulinger as the 5 people last time. After all, the more people there are, the greater the interference. Now the 3 of them have almost no interference to Sulinger, and all their big moves are directed at them. After a while, the 3 people were forcibly dispersed by Sulinger, leaving only 3 light groups in place. After absorbing these 3 light groups, Sulinger's spiritual power was almost restored. She wanted to use this hour to practice her martial arts. She wanted to see how to use these martial arts to have the greatest power. An hour passed quickly. She now discovered a group attack move, 10,000 swords Chao Zone. This sword technique was very easy to use. She decided to practice the sword technique specifically next time. The fourth battle began. This time Sulinger used only one move, 10,000 swords Chaozone, from beginning to end, using the gatekeepers who appeared as training objects. She felt that her understanding of the sword technique was constantly deepening. In the fourth game, 8 people appeared, 2 in the Saint King realm, and 6 Saint Kings at their peak. This allowed Sulinger to use 10,000 swords to Chaozone, and waves of sword rain baptized the 8 warriors. From the small impact at the beginning to the big damage at the end, Sulinger could not only use 10,000 swords to Chaozone this time, but also dodge, and her body skills could already keep up with the speed of the wind. Moreover, the battlefield this time was also very large, which provided Sulinger with enough conditions to run away after firing her moves. The 8 warriors were also very depressed. When encountering such a challenger, they had no choice but to defend in place. It's a good thing they don't have the intelligence, otherwise they would have cursed others a long time ago, and they wouldn't have bullied others like this. After another move of 10,000 swords Chaozone, 6 of the 8 people were killed, and the remaining 2 Saint King realms were also very illusory. Sulinger immediately made up for it after the last move. All 8 people were taken away in this way, leaving behind 8 glowing light groups. After Sulinger absorbed these 8 light groups, she summoned Xianyo without any rest. Xianyo, start the next battle. The challenger here can choose to start by himself, or he can wait until the time is up and automatically enter the next level. Obviously Sulinger wants to end the battle here quickly now. He will not be able to hand it over to the sisters in the Star Hall when he goes out, otherwise it will be too late. When he reached the end of the challenge, the 5-sect competition also began, and it was useless to give him martial arts at that time. The 5th game began at Sulinger's request. This time there were 10 opponents, 5 humanoid warriors, 5 monsters, each side launched their own formations and attacked Sulinger. Try my Wanjian Chaozong, Sulinger shouted at them. Pieces of sword rain appeared, drowning the 10 gatekeepers on the opposite side. Sulinger didn't care about the consumption of spiritual power. While releasing 10,000 swords to Chaozone, he explored the sword intention in it. There are with the sword intention, the power of the sword arts can be greatly improved, so she also has to study the sword intention. Her comprehension is still very strong, and she has already understood the rudiment of the sword intention in just a while. She has the rudiment. It was easy to handle next. Waves of sword rain filled the entire battlefield space, and the sword intent was permeated. Sulinger also reached the most critical moment. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 227. Sulinger was now wrapped in the sword's wool, and her whole body was like an unsheathed sword, full of sharp edges. As another move of Wanjian Chaozone was launched, the 10 gatekeepers began to be eliminated. Sulinger sucked in the destroyed light group and swallowed it, and continued to use the sword move. The sword energy in her body became stronger and stronger, and finally, all the sword energy surrounded her, wrapping her like a rice dumpling, and then the sword energy slowly dissipated. Sulinger appeared, and the sharp sword power all over her body had disappeared. Now she had no sword power at all. People who didn't know thought she had not practiced any sword moves. But Suchanga knew that Sulinger had now understood the sword's intention. After understanding the sword's intention, he could freely contract the sword's power on his body, which ordinary people could not see. Sulinger felt the benefit of the sword. Now there were 4 gatekeepers left in front of her. She once again used the 10,000 swords Chaozone move to eliminate all 4 gatekeepers. This time Wanjian Chaozone is a little different from the previous ones. Sulinger can control its range within an area. This is the benefit of sword intention. It can not only increase the attack power of sword moves, but also make sword moves more flexible. After Sulinger swallowed all the light balls in front of her, she summoned Xiaonyo. Xiaonyo, take me back and come back next time. Okay, Challenger. After the words fell, Sulinger had returned to the space where she first came in. The light door behind her had opened, and she walked out. When she returned to Singer's residence, she found that Singer had also just come back from outside. Sister Singer, have you broken through to the Holy King realm? Sister Linger, it's thanks to your elixir that many sisters have broken through to the Saint realm. Now there are 6 of us Star Hall disciples who have broken through to the Saint realm. Oh, who are they? There are 6 of you, me, Xianer, Zuzu, Xiaotian and Bing'er. Sulinger didn't expect that this move of hers would lead to the birth of so many holy realms in the Star Palace, which would give her more hope of winning the championship. Sister Singer, let me tell you something. Sister Linger, tell me, I'm listening, is it because you're not used to living here or something else? Oh, that's not all. What I want to tell you is about the 5-sex competition. So that's what happened. Isn't this the same every time? Is there something different this time? Sister Singer, please stop guessing. What I want to tell you is that I want Xing Chen Palace to win the championship of this 5-sect competition. Ah, Singer, are you sure you're not kidding? Underscore. If the Xing Chen Palace wants to achieve good results, their 2 major forces will definitely be the first to stop it. Otherwise, the Xing Chen Palace will not be ranked 3rd every time. In fact, every time the 5 sects compete, regardless of the stars, no matter how powerful the disciples of the palace are, half of their strength will definitely be consumed by the 2 major forces. Then when they encounter Kenya and the TND Society, they will have no way to fight. They can only be the 3rd place, otherwise Kenya and the TND Society will not be able to fight. It will be 1st and 2nd every time, because the remaining 3 major forces are all defeated. It will be very difficult for the Star Palace to win the 1st place this time. After all, this cannot be done just by talking. Sister Singer, since Linger said this, she must be sure of it, but she also needs your help, sister. Don't worry, Sister Linger, if we can really win the championship of the 5-sex competition, our sisters will definitely support us with all our strength. Okay, Sister Singer, your words are enough. Now please introduce to me the 5 previous competitions. I have some questions and I would like to ask you about them. Sister Linger, just ask, Sister will definitely tell you everything. Sister Singer, in the previous 5-sect competitions, how many powerful people in the Holy Realm would be exposed by the 2 major forces like Tiandi Hui and Kenyet? Let me think about it. I remember that the time when these 2 major forces had the most saints was in the last competition. The Heaven and Earth Society sent out 6 saints and 1 saint king. Kenyet's word sent out 5 saint realm masters and 1 saint king realm master, but last time it was because the age limit was a bit high, so there were only those masters. If we only count people close to our age, there will be fewer people. There are 3 saint realms in Tiandihui, 2 saint realms in Kenya, and no saint king realm. Well, in this case, the chances of winning will be greater. Sister Singer, do you think there are any saint king realm experts who are comparable to you among those forces? Without your elixir, I would not have been able to break through to the Holy King realm. I guess there may be strong people in the Holy King realm in the Heaven and Earth Association. After all, they have that secret realm, but they must be the first to enter the Holy King realm, and their cultivation level should be not very stable. Kenya probably won't be born in the Saint King realm, but there will definitely be someone who reaches the peak of the Saint realm, but it's hard to say for sure. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 228. Sister Singer, according to your analysis, those forces can only have one at the Holy King level at most. Our chances of victory this time should be very high. But Sister Ling, if this competition is an arena competition, even the two of us can't save the situation. Don't worry, Sister Sing, I have made arrangements for this. These are the martial arts my parents gave me. I will now teach them to you and all the sisters. So Ling taught Sing the martial arts skills she compiled. My God, Sister Ling, you can really teach everyone so many martial arts. Sing accepted the martial arts from Su Ling. There were 15 martial arts in total, and they were very powerful. Even Xin Chen Palace couldn't produce so many advanced martial arts. Oh, Sister Sing, I selected this specially for you. My father also left a lot for me, but those are not suitable for our cultivation, otherwise there would definitely be more. By the way, Sister Sing, I still have some things here. You leave them to the sisters who are about to break through. This time I must have more than 10 Saint Realm powerhouses in the Xin Chen Palace. Sister Ling, this is a bit too exaggerated. Sister Sing, it's no exaggeration. All the sisters have experienced in the battlefield of stars. Their foundations are very strong and they can fully withstand the breakthrough to the Holy Realm. They just lack some resources. But before I give it to you, I'd like you to try this thing for me, because I'm afraid that the energy will be too strong and it won't have the best effect. So Ling took out her own spiritual wine. She was going to use Suchanga's spiritual wine to make everyone break through. This is a very easy to use thing, and there will be no sequelae. She drew it from her own wine gourd. Pour out a drop of spiritual wine, use spiritual power to divide the drop of spiritual wine into 10 parts, and then dilute them into spiritual liquid. Sister Sing, come and taste how much energy is in this. So Ling gave a cup of the diluted spiritual liquid to Sing, and Sing drank it without hesitation. After drinking the spiritual liquid, Sing felt as if she was wrapped in a sea of spiritual power, and her whole body was filled with warmth. Yes, her skills started to work involuntarily and she began to absorb the spiritual power. But she found that no matter how she absorbed it, there was a lot of spiritual power, and her realm began to improve, to the intermediate level of the Holy King realm, the high level of the Holy King realm, and the peak level of the Holy King realm. The peak of the Holy King realm was complete. So Ling felt the improvement of Sing's realm, and immediately took action to absorb the medicinal power from Sing's body into her own body. Sing's realm slowly returned to normal and dropped, but it also finally staying at the high level of the Saint King realm. After Sing woke up, she felt her own realm, and felt scared when she was surprised. If it weren't for Ling's intervention, she would have broken through to the Saint King realm now, but if it really happened, if she breaks through, her foundation will definitely be unstable, and her future cultivation will most likely be stagnant. Ling, your spiritual wine is too scary. I usually drink it one sip after another when I see you. Singh has also seen Su Ling drink this spiritual wine, but he can't even bear the energy after diluting a drop of spiritual wine 10 times, let alone the consequences of taking a sip. Sister Singh, this spiritual wine was specially prepared for me by my father, who diluted the spiritual wine he drank for a long time. Because my physique is somewhat special, I can withstand the impact of these energies. I thought it would be better after diluting it 10 times, but I didn't expect it to be so strong. It seems I will have to do it again. So Ling diluted the remaining 9 parts of spiritual liquid again. This time she diluted the 9 parts of spiritual liquid by 100 parts, and asked Singh to try it again. Singh picked up one of the parts and drank it again. So Ling's little hand was placed on Singh's back, ready to suck out the excess energy at any time. But this time it was not as fierce as last time. The energy this time was just right, and it could be easily digested by the Saint King. So Ling breathed a sigh of relief. It finally succeeded. Singh opened her eyes and nodded to Su Ling. Sister Ling, I feel like I can easily absorb the Holy King stage this time. Sister Xing, thank you for your hard work. You have to go to the star battlefield to train for a few days, otherwise it may have a certain impact on your cultivation foundation. Don't worry, Sister Ling, I know, but I still want to thank you for the spiritual fluid. So Ling diluted it 100 times again and handed the diluted spiritual liquid to Xing. Sister Xing, I'm going to trouble you next. I need you to send the spiritual liquid and martial arts to the other sisters. Okay, Sister Ling, I'll do it now. With your resources, I think we really have a chance to win the championship this time. We will work hard. Well, Sister Xing, let's cheer together. I'll go to the star battlefield first. We'll see you in a month. After Suling separated from Xing, she returned to the star battlefield again. It was obvious that she felt the excitement of fighting here. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 229. Xiaonyo, I choose the normal difficulty challenge and start now. Suling returned to the star battlefield and continued to prepare to hone her martial arts and accumulate more combat experience. Okay, challenger, let's start the trial now. Suling returned to the familiar arena again. The rule here is that as long as you leave midway, you have to start from the beginning next time you come in, so it is not easy to leave a name on the star list. Suling once again met the person who just met for the first few gatekeepers. Suling did not use martial arts, but simply relied on her own attacks to fight against the gatekeepers. The 3 levels of strength, defense, and speed gave her a new understanding of combat. She found that every time she fought with them, there would be some different feelings. In the next 2 battles, she still did not release the sword technique to fight the gatekeepers, nor did she use the sword intention. After the 5 battles, Suling felt my understanding of fighting has deepened, and I also feel that the star battlefield is really a very good place for fighting training. After finishing these 5 battles, I continued to start the 5 battles on the next day without any hesitation. These 5 battles in this battle, Suling fought heartily, which made her like the feeling of fighting. She felt that after a battle, her whole body would be much more refreshed. With the support of the sword intention, Suling's Wanjian Chaozong sword moves were as good as a fish in water. Showing twice as much lethality as usual, which made Suling feel the terror of the sword. 2 hours later, Suling ended the 5 battles on the second day, and after a short rest, started the 3rd days of challenge. The challenge scene on the 3rd day is in an ancient mountain forest, where ancient trees stand tall and reach into the sky. This time the gatekeepers are still randomly matched, with random realms and numbers. It is the largest in the star battlefield. Characteristics, you can never imagine what enemies you will encounter. This is also to train the disciples of the Star Hall to adapt to the outside world, because you never know when your enemy will attack you, so the training here will make you better in this world. You can only talk about other things if you are alive. Without life, everything else has no meaning. There were not many gatekeepers encountered in the first battle, only 6, so Suling's battle was over. Very quickly, the training here is mainly aimed at training challengers to fight in any scene. This is undoubtedly to enable the disciples of the Star Palace to exert 100% strength in any scene. This is the purpose of the star battlefield. Suling continued to fight. The environment here was a bit unfamiliar to her, but it would not have a great impact on her strength. Slowly, Suling adapted to fighting in this environment. Due to the battlefield is not very wide, so it is inevitable that the shots will be affected. Moreover, the gatekeepers here sometimes hide. Many times, during the battle, they will hide in the mountains and forests, which makes Suling very distressed. Now the gatekeeper's spiritual intelligence has obviously improved a lot. Suling is not suitable to use group attack skills like Wanjian Chaozong here. This will only waste his spiritual power and will not have any substantive effect. Solinger has since I found another sword art in my mind, which is the Four Seasons sword technique. It is specially used by those who have understood the sword's intention. The caster can use the sword's intention to form attacks. Spring is the time when all things revive, and the sword's intention in spring is gentle. The spring sword technique can easily block the opponent's various attacks, just like Tai Chi. The summer sun is like fire, and the corresponding sword moves are also wide open sword moves, and the attack power is also very strong. Autumn sword technique is a move that can be used both offensively and defensively, which can greatly enhance one's own defense. The winter sword technique is a chilling move. Solinger now began to slowly ponder the secrets of it. The secret of the sword's intention was slowly discovered. Solinger integrated the sword intention into the surrounding space, simulating the summer scene, and arranged the sword intention according to the operation method of the sword formula, and the temperature in that space began to rise. It stunned Solinger looked at the sword space in front of her. The temperature inside was enough to melt a person. She found a gatekeeper to test it, and the gatekeeper immediately turned into a ball of light, even though he was the Holy King. The gatekeeper of the realm, but it should also be useful for the Saint King realm. Then continue to study the winter swordsmanship. The spring and autumn swordsmanship is not used yet. Let's wait until the next environment to talk about it. The gatekeeper here now there is no need for Solinger to defend herself. The essence of winter sword technique is coldness. She turned the sword intention space from high temperature to low temperature, and slowly a trace of cold air appeared in the sword intention space. It seems that winter sword technique will soon be able to it worked. This time Solinger found a gatekeeper in the Saint King realm to try the power of winter swordsmanship. People in the Saint King realm can indeed resist for a while longer than those in the Saint King realm. But it is only a matter of time. The gatekeepers had been frozen, and they had no choice but to leave the sword intention space. They could only watch themselves being wiped out. The gatekeepers in the first game on the third day had completely become the guinea pigs for Solinger to test his moves. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 230. The two artistic conceptions of ice and fire were freely transformed throughout the mountain forest. Many trees in the forest were destroyed. After all 6 gatekeepers were eliminated, Solinger also practiced her summer swordsmanship and winter swordsmanship to great perfection. Ever since she started learning sword techniques, Solinger felt that her understanding of sword techniques was really fast. She could quickly use a sword technique skillfully, and she could master it in less than half an hour. This discovery made her very happy. She didn't expect that she was a sword genius. Suchanga looked at Solinger's complacent look and wished he could go out and beat her little Pippi. This child, you were created by your father and my spirit wine. You must be quick to learn swordsmanship. Your father and I were sword gods back then, but now there is no one who can make your father use the sword. Solinger didn't know how powerful Suchanga's sword skills were. After all, he had never used these moves before. An hour later, a new forest appeared, and the gatekeepers appeared one by one. There were a lot of gatekeepers this time, 12, but Solinger didn't feel any pressure. She needed so many people to help her practice her moves now. Without saying a word, Solinger immediately released the sword intent and surrounded herself. This time she was going to start studying the spring sword intent. This sword intent could make her defense more perfect and can also be used to counterattack. In the sword intention space, traces of life energy appear, giving people a feeling of resurrection of all things, and sword energy is constantly being born in the space. Obviously, the spring sword intention is to continuously generate sword energy to neutralize the enemy's attacks, and as the sword energy continues to increase, it can also counterattack. The 12 gatekeepers on the opposite side did not understand Solinger's intention, and all entered Suling-er. They wanted to besiege Suling-er, but it was in line with her ideas, so that the effect of the spring sword intent could be fully released. The 12 gatekeepers kept attacking Suling-er. Suling-er sat cross-legged in the center of the sword space, obviously comprehending the mystery of the spring sword technique. Suling-er did not hesitate to expend her spiritual power to maintain the protection, just to prevent her insights from being interrupted. The current spring swordsmanship is not mature enough, so some attacks can still reach her through such a distance. She followed the sword intention with her mind to experience the scene of spring. Slowly she felt that she had entered the artistic conception of spring. She felt that she could clearly feel the breath of the resurrection of all things. She seemed to hear the chirping of birds, animals, and insects in spring, as well as the breathing of nature, which were all manifestations of the vitality of spring. The sword intention space also began to change. It started to rain here. If you look closely, you can see that the rain was clearly made of sword energy. The spring rain turned into a fatal attack in the spring sword technique. The rain of swords in the sky drowned the 12 gatekeepers. At first, they could resist the attacks of the rain of swords, but as time went on, their bodies began to become elusive. Obviously their defenses have been broken down, and Jianyu's attack power has also begun to increase. The longer they stay in the space, the stronger the attacks they receive. The breath of spring can revive all things, or it can make all things perish, it just depends on how you use it. Suling-er opened her eyes and smiled. She had now completely mastered the spring sword intent, and now she could create the sword intent space into what it was just now with just one thought. Of course, the power she exerted was stronger. She moved with the thought, and the sword rain attacks began to focus on the 12 gatekeepers. After a while, their bodies were wiped out, leaving only 12 light groups remaining in place. After Suling-er absorbed these 12 light groups, her spiritual power recovered a lot, which also made her look forward to the next trial even more. Next came the third battle on the third day. Suling-er began to study the autumn sword technique. After one battle, she mastered the autumn sword technique. The four-season sword technique opened a door for her, allowing her to have a deeper understanding of the sword's will and become more flexible in its use. Suchanga saw Suling-er's progress in his eyes, and he really lived up to his efforts. This little girl was also a very strong person. He could feel that at the beginning, the little girl was completely holding on by himself. If it weren't for the clothes he made to protect her from injury, the little girl would have failed long ago. Suling-er was also very grateful to her father, Suchanga, for the skills and various things he left for her. They were really helpful to her growth. Her father was her father and could prepare for a rainy day. When Suchanga heard Suling-er's heartfelt voice, he felt like he was about to fly into the sky. It felt so good to be praised by his precious daughter. Time flew by quickly. After the third day of fighting, Suling-er began the fourth day of fighting. After staying in the star battlefield for a long time, there is no concept of time anymore, just like Suling-er no longer knows how many days he has been fighting. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 231. At first I still remember it was on the fifth day, but I can no longer remember it after that. There were more and more gatekeepers behind, and Suling-er also tried to use other sword techniques. Each sword technique was very practical to perform, but later she found that the more and more things she learned, the more uncomfortable it became to perform them. After thinking for a long time, Suling-er understood something. These sword techniques are too complicated now. It would be fine if you majored in a few. If you practice more, it would be a burden. This stinky daddy, why are you teaching me so many martial arts, and you want me to understand the secrets myself? You are so abominable. Suling-er cursed Suchanga in her heart. Suchanga was lying on the gun for no reason again, but there was no other way, so just scold her, who would let it be her daughter. After understanding this truth, Sulinger put all her thoughts into it. Putting it on the two sword arts of Wanjian Chaozong and Four Seasons sword art, these two sword arts are currently the two sword arts that are most suitable for her. After making up her mind, Sulinger stopped worrying about martial arts and put other martial arts, abandon them all and fight with these two martial arts wholeheartedly. The battle begins again. The Hall of Stars is now full of people. Old Bai and Old Hay are speaking on the stage. Everyone is very concerned about the content of the speech. Old Bai looks down. The faces of the disciples were full of enthusiasm, and they were obviously very happy. The state of the disciples made his blood boil. It was obvious that the Xin Chen Palace attached great importance to the five-sex competition. He looked at the 15 people at the front, his eyes full of excitement. That's right, these disciples have all broken through to the Saint Realm, 14 Saint Realms, 1 Saint King Realm, and 1 is Sulinger. Saint King Realm, that is the existence he was still looking up to at this age. I didn't expect that Sulinger would achieve this when she was only 8 or 9 years old. She is really the best among monsters. These disciples all achieved breakthroughs after taking the spiritual liquid given by Sulinger. She originally only wanted to have 10 people. A breakthrough would be good, but I didn't expect it to reach 15. She will definitely be surprised when she sees it. Children, you are all excellent. You are all the elites of our Star Palace. I hope you can achieve the best results in the 5-sect competition in 5 days. Lao Bai encouraged everyone. Don't worry, Mr. Bai, we will definitely make Huan Quan Palace and Beast King Pavilion pay the price this time. We can finally collide head-on with Tiandi Hui and Kenya, Singer said excitedly. She also didn't expect that the spiritual fluid given by Sulinger would have such a strong effect. Except for those sisters who broke through to the Holy Realm, many of the remaining sisters have broken through to the peak of kingship. There is only one step left to break through to the Holy Realm. Of course, we are talking about the disciples who can participate in the 5-sex competition. There are 30 disciples from each force participating in the 5-sex competition. These 30 disciples are elites in each force. Among the 30 disciples who participated in the Star Palace this time, except for the 16 saints, the remaining 14 were all at the peak of the title of king. This is the most outstanding lineup in the history of the Star Palace, bar none. This is why Mr. Bai is so excited. He didn't expect that he would get such a big harvest by accepting Sulinger. It's really a super cost-effective deal. As long as you have this heart, you just need to remember one sentence: we disciples of the Star Hall will not bow to anyone. Okay, go down and prepare. We will set off in 5 days. The disciples left here and went back to prepare. They still have the trump card that is useless, which is the martial arts taught to them by Sulinger. The power of those martial arts is really strong. Singer did not leave. Old Bai, Linger. Hasn't my little sister come out from the battlefield of stars yet? I don't know if it's too late or if we should call her out. Don't worry, Singer, since that girl Linger asked you to win the championship with her, she will definitely come out. There are still 5 days left, let's wait. Well, that's all it can do, just wait and hope she can catch up. The gatekeeper was frozen into an ice sculpture. After a while, the ice sculpture turned into pieces, leaving only a ball of light in place. Wanjian Chaozong, a soft and crisp voice sounded, and sword rays flew towards the remaining 8 gatekeepers. The sword rays in the sky drowned the 8 people. After a moment, only 8 light groups were left. Open your mouth and inhale, 16 to the light group. After being absorbed by her, her spiritual power was actually not consumed too much. After the battle, Sulinger decided to leave here. Although she didn't remember how many battles she fought, she felt that the 5 sects were powerful. It's starting closer than it should be, it's time to go back. Xiaonyo, stop practicing and send me back. Okay, Challenger, your challenge record has entered the star list, and your current ranking is the first in normal difficulty. Sulinger took a look and found that the message she left on the star list was, Sulinger, 51 days. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong Wrong. Chapter 232. Next is Wushuan, 40 days. Sulinger didn't expect that she had already fought 255 times. Time passed quite quickly. If the 5-sect competition was not about to begin, she would still have to challenge the next one. The difficulty level of it? Because there is no way to stop her on the current normal difficulty level. Although the number and realm are random, there will only be a maximum of 30 gatekeepers appearing at the same time. This is already the limit of the star battlefield. But these people are not enough for Sulinger to fight now, because she has mastered the 2 sword techniques of Wanjian Chaozong and 4 seasons sword art to the point of perfection, and even 30 gatekeepers can't stop her from unleashing her full strength. Someone who is 1 level above her might be able to stop her, but there is no need now. She has accumulated a lot of combat experience in more than 200 battles. For a long time after that, she was able to firmly hold down her foundation, allowing her to break through to the realm of the great sage with confidence. Sulinger walked out of the light gate of the star battlefield and felt the spiritual energy from all around coming towards her. Then her realm improved a bit, reaching the peak of the Saint King realm. This was after she experienced the battle and completely absorbed the fire energy hidden in her body. Since then, all the fire energy she obtained in the previous ruins has been absorbed. Her realm has broken through from the Saint realm to the peak of the Saint King realm. If she can enter the secret realm of the Tiandihui to practice this time, she may be able to break through to the Great Saint. I returned to Singer's residence and saw that Singer was still waiting for her to come back. Sister Singer, I'm back. How is it? What's the effect? Sister Linger, you are finally back. I was worried that you would miss the 5-sex competition. He, how could it be? I am very interested in the secret realm of the Tiandihui. Let's go in and talk. The two returned to the house, and Singer told Sulinger about the results of this breakthrough. Sister Linger, with the help of your spiritual liquid, the first 6 sisters were born, and several more sisters later broke through to the saint realm, so now with you, our star hall has a total of 16 saints this time. Territory. Well, not bad, this lineup is pretty good, much better than I expected. It seems that the foundation of the sisters is very solid. By the way, Sister Singer, what about those martial arts? How are the sisters practicing? Sister Linger, I thank you on behalf of the sisters. Your martial arts is really too strong. The sisters have all practiced your martial arts. The power is very impressive. Don't worry. That's good, then we can have a big fight with them. By the way, Sister Singer, how many of us will participate in the 5-sect competition? It is tentatively confirmed that there are 30 disciples, but the major forces also have 20 additional candidate disciples. So what are the strengths of our other sisters? Everyone has practiced the martial arts you gave them, and is already familiar with the fighting methods of the martial arts. Their combat effectiveness should have increased by at least twice. And with the help of your spiritual liquid, all our contestants are at the peak of becoming a king. However, in order to retain some strength, there are no disciples who are at the peak of becoming a king among the candidates. The Star Palace cannot expose more than 50 peak king disciples at once, otherwise they will easily be targeted by other forces. The team participating in the competition this time is already luxurious enough, there is no need to expose other disciples. Sulinger also, after understanding the purpose of Xin Chen Palace's doing this, the 16 saints were already surprised, and there was no need to expose the others so much. After Sulinger had a conversation with Singer, he asked Singer to practice. Sulinger himself also understood the sword intention of the 4 seasons, which was derived from the sword art of the 4 seasons. Sulinger can now switch the sword intention back and forth between the 4 seasons. This makes the lethality of the sword art of the four seasons become stronger. Sulinger is now invincible in the Saint King realm. Although he is only at the peak of the Saint King realm, he should not suffer any loss in the battle with the great Saint King realm. The atmosphere in the entire melee realm has begun to change. The excitement is rising, because the annual 5-sect competition is about to begin. Every time the competition between the 5 major forces is exciting, people from the melee domain come back to watch this battle. Every 5-sect competition many people will see outstanding geniuses. This is their role model and will make more people want to join the major forces. These can increase the popularity of the major forces. At the same time, everyone should also take a look at this. Who will win the championship in each battle means that some forces have to consider which force they will cooperate with in the next year. The forces here also know that the force that wins the championship each time can control the resources of 5 cities, which makes many small forces are very important. If you follow the right boss, you can get more resources in the next year. The 5 major forces also cooperate with them, but some are more and some are less. So the 5-sects competition is an extremely important event for the entire melee domain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 233. In the early morning, the entire Star Hall woke up from silence. Figures flew from the residential area to the front of the hall. There were already many people waiting in front of the hall. The square in front of the hall was crowded with people. The 30 contestants, Sulinger and Singer, stood at the front, and the remaining 20 substitutes stood behind them. Last night, Sulinger found a hidden state of skills from the skills that Suchanga left for her. It can be said that it is watertight. Few people in the entire heaven can see their true cultivation level. Singer, and the other 3 retain the aura of the Saint Realm. The other disciples have the Saint Realm hiding their realm in the King's Peak, and the King's Peak has hidden their realm in the previous realm. The entire Star Palace is preparing for a competition where they pretend to be pigs and eat tigers. What they want is to make other forces unable to guard against them. Okay, everyone is here, let's go. The leaders this time were Mr. Hay and Mr. Bai, and everyone followed Mr. Bai and Mr. Hay to fly out of the Star Palace. The trial venue was set in the middle of the mountains in the center of the melee area, where all previous 5-sect competitions were held. This place is usually open, and there are many warriors practicing here. There is residual fighting spirit on the battlefield here, which is very helpful for the training of some warriors. However, there is no one here today. Every time I come here heaven, the warriors will voluntarily leave here to make room for the 5-sects grand competition, and the 5 major forces will also send law enforcement teams to maintain order here. There are many warriors surrounding the mountains now, and they are all here to watch those who came to the 5 major competitions, but they cannot enter the venue yet. They can only go in after all the 5 major forces have entered the venue. The first one to arrive is the Tiandihui. As the leader of the 5 major forces, they will definitely come first. Yes, of course, this first place was awarded to them by themselves, and none of the other major forces recognized it. After all, the Tiandihui has been the first among the 5 sects in each competition in recent years, which makes them very proud and feels that the Tiandihui is the boss of the melee domain. The disciples of the Tiandihui are usually very arrogant. If Sulinger sees them, he will definitely manage them every day. It's a pity that the Tiandihui is a bit far away from the Star Palace, and there is generally no Tiandihui. The disciples ran to Star City to run wild. The second force to arrive was Kenyet. Their arrival was silent. As professional killers, hiding their bodies is their specialty. If everyone can find it, what else can they do? What a killer! Haha, old man Shat, you are leading the team again. This time a voice came from the Tiandihui side. Then a blonde-haired man walked out of the Tiandihui team, and a black figure appeared in front of him on the opposite side. Jin Yao, what you said is as if you are not here again. Kenya's leader is a long-haired old man wearing a grey robe, and his figure is even more elusive. Old man Shat, your concealment skills are getting better and better. It seems that your cultivation has improved recently. Jin Yao, don't do this nonsense. What you say is good. Who doesn't know in private that you, Jin Yao, are the person who has made the most progress in cultivation? You are still being polite to me here. Haha, old man Shat, I agree with you. This guy Jin Yao tells these lies every time, and he is not ashamed of himself. Let's try to see how much he weighs. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 234. A rough and arrogant man appeared in the eastern sky. Before the person arrived, the voice had already arrived. Some warriors with weak cultivation were shocked by his words. Damn barbarian, the grudge between the two of us has not been settled yet, and you want to provoke an enemy. A soft voice also came from the west. Following the sound, it was the people from Huangquan Palace and Beast King Pavilion who had arrived. Huangquanzi, you effeminate little person, get out of here. What I despise the most is a person like you who is neither male nor female. The leader of Huangquan Palace is a feminine man. The rough and arrogant man in Beast King Pavilion is right. Huangquanzi really gives everyone a bad feeling. Most people really don't know whether he is a boy or a girl. You all came so early, it seems that everyone can't wait. Everyone from the Star Palace came from the north. Hey Lao said hello to a few people. Oh, old man black, old man white, why are you two here again? Is there no one in the Star Palace? You two old guys are always here. Huangquanzi started to argue with Xing Chen Palace. Bai Lao was not angry and responded calmly, no way, young people are busy, we two old guys have nothing to do, we can only do some errands like this. Got it? Okay, Huangquanzi, stop talking nonsense. Since people have arrived, let's go to the arena. What's the point of talking here? Obviously Jin Yao from the Tiandihui also had some objections to Huangquanzi, a effeminate thing, and didn't give him a good look. Of course Huangquanzi didn't say anything, he just snorted coldly and led the team away. Everyone came to the trial. The venues have all entered their respective areas. The trial ground here has a long history, and everyone is familiar with it. Let's start the battle. The 5 leaders stood at the front, inputting their own strength into the ancient battle platform in front. The original battle platform here was built when the 5 major forces were first established. Later, it became a monumental thing, so the 5 major forces built another space battle platform, and it was necessary to combine the power of the 5 major forces to summon the battle platform. Stop for a moment, don't rush to start the battle stage. This time a voice resounded in everyone's ears. The leaders of the 5 major forces also stopped their movements and looked into the air. At this time, 5 figures appeared in the air, who were the current leaders of the 5 major forces. Heaven and Earth will meet. Chang Leng Kang Mang, Kenya leader Assassin, Beast King Pavilion leader Man Huang, Huangquan Palace Master Huangquan Loguai, and Star Palace Master Xing Wei. Each of these 5 powerful people stood in their own power. Jin Yao looked at them in confusion. President, the battle stage is no longer open. Is there a new format for today's competition? Leng Kangmang nodded, looked at the other 4 people, asked for their opinions, and the 4 people nodded. Let me tell you, this time the 5-sect competition adopts a new format. There are 2 games in total. The first game will be held in another space. Your tasks and the specific situation of the game will be determined by your respective team leaders later. You introduce. The second game is a normal ring battle, so you should be prepared. The first game will start in an hour. The whole game will be broadcast live with mirrors, and people outside can see your performance. After the president of the Tiandihui finished speaking, he returned to the sky above the Tiandihui and passed the information about this competition to the team leader Jin Yao. Other power leaders also passed the information to their team leaders.